If you've been trying to buy a property but got caught in a chain, you'll know what a nightmare it can be.
So how do you avoid that kind of situation?
Well, one way to cut through the links of the chain is to buy your home under the hammer. Well, people go to the auction to buy all sorts of properties, and they have all kinds of budgets.
There's an enormous choice available. So what did our buyers decide to bid for? I have just one verdict on this property in Gillingham, Kent. Dated, dated, dated!
All these properties went to auction, and we'll find out who bought them and what they paid for them when they went under the hammer.
Want to live in London but can't afford the astronomical property prices? Well, Gillingham in Kent could be the place for you. Reaching the capital couldn't be easier. It takes an hour by train, and there are also strong road links should you wish to drive. The average property price here is just under £200,000, so you can see why it is a big hit with commuters. It's also a very popular area with students, with Mid-Kent College nearby, an £86 million development which opened 2 years ago. Now with students around, there are two things they're bound to need: pubs and accommodation. Everybody's got to learn sometime. So this area is an ideal buy-to-let opportunity. A short walk from the college and the train station, and I'm here to see today's auction property. Now, the catalogue tells me it's in need of some improvement, and that is good news, because there could be scope to add value. It's here, looks OK from the outside, and the guide price, well, that was set at a very reasonable £85,000 to £90,000. I'm going in. This two-bedroom mid-terrace house sounds promising on paper, but what about inside? Dated, dated, dated! Look at this obscured glass. It's rather strange to have it there, but it is letting light into the hallway. Nevertheless, it's got to go. Wallpaper, that's all got to come off. You've got a good-sized lounge, but tongue and groove everywhere in there. It's not quite fitting the modern 21st century look, I don't think. Polystyrene tiles on the ceiling. The carpets have all got to come up. This has all got to go. It needs a complete rethink, this property, but the room sizes are good. And look at this, for the back of the house. I think this was an extension that was added on at a later stage. A good-sized kitchen, although the kitchen's out there. I'd like to bring it in here. Once you've done those alterations, you could have yourself a nice little house here. Well, I'm optimistic so far, but what's in store upstairs? So we have two good-sized bedrooms upstairs, and we also have, which is good news, a bathroom of a fair size. Some rather jazzy pink and black tiles. The good thing is we have a cupboard space here. We have exactly the same next door, and I have seen this done so many times. You could create a corridor along here. This is also that bedroom number 1 can access this bathroom without having to walk through this bedroom. Partition wall here, doorway, so this allows this room and that room to have separate access to the bathroom. Fantastic. That all works out. A bathroom leading off one bedroom is never ideal, especially in a student-let. And check out that design in the bathroom.
Just a square. Baby, I don't care. Baby, I don't care. Baby, I don't care. Baby, I don't care.
It all depends on what you're going to do with the property. If it's a shared one, you'll want to move this bathroom to between the 2 bedrooms. But the bottom line is that I think rental is the way forward here. Personally, I don't think this house is a short-term money-making machine. The resale figures aren't amazing, so I would be inclined to take the long-term view and rent this property out. Let me show you why. Now, I'm going to crunch some numbers here. OK, so a buyer picks this up at auction for, let's say, £100,000. They spend a further 10 grand in fees and renovation costs, and they secure a rent for £600 a month. So that's 600 times 12. That equals £7,200. Then you divide that number by the total amount spent. In this case, 110,000. So I've done some figures previously. Now that comes out at roughly 0.065. If you times that by 100, you have your figure of 6.5, and that is your yield. A great return on an investment, I think.
Those are just my thoughts, but what does a local property expert reckon? We asked one along to hear his opinion on this place.
First impressions, nicely surprised. It's really a typical house for this area, needing a fairly basic and light renovation. This property as a rental would appeal to students and families alike.
Once the property was renovated, how much could it rent out for?
I would expect to achieve around £600 per calendar month.
What if the buyer chose to sell it on?
When completed, I'd put this house on the market for £120,000.
Well, you know what I think by now. This is a perfect buy-to-let property if you buy at the right price. You'll never be short of tenants and the yield is high. It's a no-brainer for me. Let's see who else fancied this one as we go to auction.
Start me at 85,000. Good value at 85,000. Start me at 80 then. At 80. 80 I'm on the way. 80 I've got. And 80 I'm a place. With you at £80,000. And 82. 82. And 5, 85, 85, and 8, 88,000. 90 anywhere, 90 in a fresh place, 92 it's against you, 91 I've got, and 2, 92, you know it's worth it, 92 I've got, and 3 and 4, it's in the room, it's 94, it's with you again, 95 if you like now, 95 and 6. We've got 96 sitting in the fresh place in the aisle, 97 it's against both of you, 97 he's shaking his head, at 96 then sitting in the aisle right in front of me for the first time, at £96,000 for the second, 96 and a half I'll take once, 97 it's against you, 97 and a half again, 97 and a half, and 98. 98 he says no. 97 and a half then for the first, second, if you're sure you're all done, third and final time, £97,500 all done. Yours at 97 and a half. And that's C8.
And it's Craig who's the happy new owner of the property with his triumphant bid of £97,500. He works for a sports distribution company whilst taking a break from his business studies degree. He's based in London but knows this area well. At the age of 23, he's a young investor. I met him at the house to find out whether he was doing this refurbishment for business or for pleasure.
Business and pleasure.
Craig, congratulations. Lovely to meet you today.
And you?
Well done.
Thank you.
I want to know why you wanted to buy this property.
Well, basically, my dad owns a property in the area as it is, and that's a student let, and I thought I could replicate that on my own.
So is it close to this house?
It's literally two to three roads away.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, so 5 minutes walk.
So, fantastic. You score points there because you obviously know the area.
Yep.
What about this property?
Good question. Basically, to me it was meant to be because I saved up the deposit and literally I finished that about a month ago, and then lo and behold I had a look on the auction and yeah, the property came up, and so I rang up my dad and he was like, yeah, let's go for it.
So has it been really difficult trying to save that money over such a long period of time?
Oh, absolutely. With the girlfriend wanting to go on holidays and friends wanting to go out, it's been tempting to tuck into it, but yeah, you just got to have a lot of self-discipline and just, yeah.
Do you have any money left over for the work you need to do?
I do.
Here?
I've got a very tight budget of £5,000 and Mum and Dad's bank account if I need it.
£5,000 does sound tight. So what's he going to try and do with that?
The plan is to move the bathroom into the conservatory room there, because at the moment that's just dead space. And then we're going to juggle the lounge upstairs, because at the moment you're going to have to walk through someone's bedroom to get to your room, and that's a no-no. So therefore we've decided to move the lounge up there instead. So that's the communal area of the house, and yeah, kitchen and bathroom down here.
What will this room be that we're standing in?
This would be a bedroom as well.
Now, what sort of rental income can you get by doing that?
Based on what my dad's got around the corner, anywhere between £60 to £70 per week per room.
OK. Now, how does that compare with a family let? Because I've got numerous properties that I do the same thing. But a family let, to me, you get longevity, you get a family that's staying in it for quite a long time, and you wouldn't have to do so much partitioning and rearranging.
Yeah.
But have you looked into that?
Not at the moment, although I am open to ideas because obviously the project's at its starting point. So yeah, maybe if you visit me again, I might have changed my mind, but I will definitely look into it.
I'm worried that a multiple let will mean more work, and let's face it, Craig's £5 budget will only stretch so far.
How are you going to manage to do it on such a small budget?
Well, the good thing is my mother and father will be living in the property and doing it up. My dad's a wizard of DIY. He's been doing it ever since he could stand up, basically. And yeah, he'd basically done his house around the corner, so all the work was done there. And yeah, so we're going to save that way.
And how are your DIY skills? You've talked a lot about your dad's. What about yours? I mean, how much are you actually going to do here?
Yeah, they're very basic, to say the least, but I'm a quick learner, so hopefully this project will, yeah, whip me into shape.
Having such helpful and willing parents will save Craig a lot of money in the long run. But how long has he given them to do all the work on the property here?
The deadline is 4 months' time, so yeah, I've given my mum and dad up until that time to do it. And yeah, they're really happy because that means my mum and dad can keep busy doing what they do, as well as looking at the property in the area for themselves.
But aren't they going to miss their creature comfort? It's going to be hard living in here.
Yeah, I'm sure I can bring them some coffee or come down on the weekends, keep them company.
You think that cheeky little smile can get away with everything, don't you?
Pretty much. It has done so far, so yeah.
He's a charmer. He's a charmer.
Craig, I'm really excited to see the end product. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Bye.
So, Craig's mum and dad have certainly got their work cut out here, and they are working to a tight budget of £5,000. Something tells me they may need to dip into their own bank account. Will Craig manage to turn this house into a 4-bed student let, or will he take my advice and opt for a family rental? You can find out which way he goes later in the programme.
But first, we return to Kent to see if property development is a step too far for Craig.
I just thought, wow, what have I taken on, to be honest?
Earlier in the programme, we were in Gillingham in Kent to see this mid-terrace, which sold for £97,500. It was bought by Craig, who's working as a sales coordinator for a satellite sports channel, whilst taking a break from his business studies degree. With his dad's help, Craig planned to renovate the house and let it out to students.
The plan is to move the bathroom into the conservatory room there, because at the moment that's just dead space. And then we're going to juggle the lounge upstairs, because at the moment you're going to have to walk through someone's bedroom to get to your room, and that's a no-no.
What will this room be that we're standing in?
This would be a bedroom as well.
Over 4 months have passed and we've returned to Gillingham to see how Craig is progressing with the business of turning this 2-bedroom mid-terrace house into the perfect student pad. At the back, the garden's been cleared and the outside toilet has gone. Inside, the extra space has been put to good use. A new bathroom's been installed, and the former kitchen has been transformed with new units and appliances. Along the hall to the front of the house, the living room's now the first of 4 bedrooms. The glass partition wall has gone, as has the fire from the fireplace. In the rear living room, the wood panelling's been removed and it has become bedroom 2, adjacent to the kitchen.
The kitchen was, believe it or not, one of the rooms which didn't need as much complex work done to it. It was literally gut out the old unit that was there, put a new one in. But the aim of the game was to make it really light and airy, and I think we've done that really well. I think it looks great.
Yeah, it does. But has Craig managed to achieve the same standard upstairs? Now that he's created a brand new bathroom on the ground floor, that funky pink and black bathroom upstairs has become bedroom number 3, and there's now a communal area made out of the original back bedroom. There's a further bedroom at the front, which brings the total number of bedrooms to 4, increasing the property's rental potential. But how did Craig find the refurbishment?
It was a blast from the past, literally. It had everything needing doing to it. The walls were a nightmare. Every room had a wall that needed doing. And I just thought, when all the wallpaper was down, all the plaster was bare, I just thought, wow, what have I taken on, to be honest?
Well, it was a mid-terrace that hadn't been touched for years. Lots of original features and lots of problems. With the help of his mum and dad, the property has been resurrected, although they weren't always enthusiastic.
At first, they thought it was a really good investment, and then as time got on, they gradually hated it because of all the work, but then now they've started to see the light at the end of the tunnel, so they love it now.
But at what cost? Did Craig stick to his budget?
The original budget was $5,000 to $7,000. We ended up spending $5,800. I mean, there's a few jobs here and there, so probably total spend will come in about $6,000.
Craig's business studies degree course is paying off. So what's his tip?
Well, the secret is to have a dad that knows all the trades and can do all the work. Mum and dad are heroes. I mean, they were living on site. I was down here every weekend. It was a massive slog. So, but we had to do it. That's what keeps costs down. And yeah, that's what you got to do.
Time to hear what 2 local estate agents think of Craig's and his mum and dad's hard work.
I think the 4-bedroom configuration works very, very well, particularly if you're aiming at a room-let market.
Personally, I think the property's been done to a reasonable standard. It's magnolia, it's neutralised, it's bright, it's clean, the ceilings are clean. It's very typical of what you see in this kind of property.
The accommodation is good size. The smallest bedroom is very clearly a single room, but it works very well as a 4-bedroom.
How much rental income could it produce if let to 4 students?
If the property was occupied by 4 students, I would expect the monthly income to be approximately £1,400 to £1,500 per calendar month.
As a student there, I think you'd probably, over the 12 months, achieve around £1,000 a month.
Craig has already started securing tenants for his property, so how much rent are they willing to pay?
I managed to get £95 a week. I mean, the first one's in the door. It was off-plan, so it wasn't finished. I showed them around, told them how to use their imagination, but they saw a couple of rooms, realised it was high quality, and they loved it.
That means the 4 rooms he's renting out should generate an income of £1,520 per calendar month. This would give him an amazing annual yield of around 17.5%. Incredible! And with a total investment, not including fees, of £103,500, have the changes increased its resale value too?
I believe I could sell this property on for a price in the region of £115,000 to £120,000.
As investment property, room-lets, students, I would expect an astute investor to pay upwards of £145,000.
Well, those valuations of between £115,000 and £145,000 would mean a gross profit of between £11,500 and a whopping £41,500.
145, wow, that's really impressive. The 115, 120, that's more or less what I had valued myself. But 145, my dad's going to be really happy with that, knowing that he's put a lot more value onto it. Brilliant, I'm really happy.
Craig's confident that he can achieve a high rental income again on the next property he buys to convert into student accommodation.
I know the market, I know a lot of friends that lived in the area, I've seen the state of their student houses, therefore I'm like the inside man in what I know, and so therefore I can put my own input into it and bring it up to what I've done to this one. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I can do it to the next, and maintain those high rents, but we'll see.